Hello and welcome to the support and training videos for the California Applicants Attorneys Rating and Indemnity System, powered by CompCalc. This is the first of 3 support and training videos, basic features and functions. Additional videos include rating with the CompCalc and advanced tips and techniques. Just a quick word before we begin. All users of the CompCalc are instructed to consult the DEU and legal counsel to confirm all information and data provided by the CompCalc. The CompCalc is an estimator, not a calculator. Last, it's not the intent of the provider or the developer of the CompCalc to provide legal analysis, advice, or recommendations, nor to create an attorney-client relationship. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This first video, Basic Features and Functions, is intended just to give you an overview of the CompCalc, how it works, some basic understanding of how you input information, and how the CompCalc, what the different features and functions of the CompCalc are. Let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm doing this on a Mac OS, but it would be the same whether, and I'll be using Safari as my browser, but it would be the same, essentially the same, regardless of whether or not you were in a Mac OS or a Windows 10 environment and using, I don't know, Firefox or Google Chrome or Explorer. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to click on Safari. Now I'm up at my ranch when I'm doing this, and so the internet may seem a little slow. Just a quick informational note on that. Understand that the CompCalc that CAAA has chosen to utilize is the AWS version, Amazon Web Services. So you're actually going up into the cloud to perform these calculations. Just a further note or comment on privacy. The way that the CompCalc has been developed is to make sure that we are not capturing the user's data. So the way that the CompCalc works for the AWS is we transmit packets of information to the CompCalc back and forth, but all calculations and all storage are done locally. Once you log out off the CAAA website, all that information is gone unless you've stored it locally, either by way of the save, if it's a rating or a COLA calculation by way of the save, or created or generated an email and sent that. So all the information is contained locally. So there's absolutely no concern, or there should be no concerns regarding privacy. Okay, so we're up in our Safari web browser. We're going to first go to the California Applicants Attorneys website, and then from there you'll see that there is a key, or a button rather, and you tap on that, and I have it stored over here on my and we go right into the CompCalc. Now this is the opening menu of the California Applicants Attorneys Association Rating and Indemnity System, powered by CompCalc. And let's just go through the screen real quick. The first screen that comes up is the module dealing with permanent disability rating schedule or manual. And you can see it's just obvious. It's so intuitive. You put in the date of birth, you put in the date of injury, you put in the whole person impairment, you put in the apportionment if applicable. You then select the part of body, general part of body. Then it will, because these indexes are, these arrays are indexed, it will then limit what you can select by way of the specific part of body. Like I just selected spine. Takes a second, it goes up, and these are all the parts of body for the spine. You can go ahead and search lumbar, because I have a search engine on each one of the different arrays, and you can see that it limits it to your DRE or other lumbar options for specific ratings. You click on that and you start building your rating string down here. Okay? And watch how simple this is. I'm just going to really quickly play here, and let's see how fast I can do a DRE3 with 75% apportionment. Watch this. And I'm going to, for my occupational industries, I want to I'm going to say it's a clerk. And so I go to, rather than occupational industries, I go to occupational groups. And I'm going to type in, this is a list of all the occupational groups. I'm going to type in clerk because I'm not sure what I want to use. And I'm going to ask for it to search and give me all the clerks that are available. And you can see these are all the different groups that have the word clerk in them, from a low of 111 to a high of 360. I'm going to click on the 111, and now I'm going to, and watch how quick it adjusts everything. Now I want to go with a 360. I want to have that PD as high as possible. And you can see that it carries it all the way out and ultimately gives you the full indemnity value for that rating string. If you have, but what happens, you might ask, if you have multiple rating strings? Well, you can just add a new rating string. Watch how fast this is. I'm going to go ahead and modify the second rating string that I just added, because guess what? I have an upper extremity on this, and it's a peripheral neuropathy. And so I'm going to go ahead and select peripheral neuropathy based on an upper extremity. Of course, the occupational group remains the same, but the impairment is, the upper extremity is really messed up, so it's a 19%. And there's no apportionment on this, so it's 100% industrial. Now look at how quickly this whole thing calculated. It takes a second because, again, we're going over the internet here. It's 14% because it's 75% apportionment on the spine rating, but on the upper extremity rating, it is 28%, adjusting to 19% for age and occupation. We go down here right now, and this is something you need to understand about the CompCalc. It does all the work for you. Once you put in the date of injury, and here we have a 1/1/2015 date of injury, and this is based on a date of birth of 1/1/1980. Once you put in the date of injury, it automatically calculates the indemnity, whether it be PD or TD, always assuming the default is maximum given the date of injury. But if I was to change this, and let's say the applicant was only earning $300. Watch how fast this is. I just inputted $300. It automatically adjusts the PD rate to $200. It then goes to the money chart and does the calculation based on the labor code for a 38% for $37,400. Now you might say, why 38%? Because 14 and 28 is 42. That shouldn't be 38, but we have the combined value on. But not to worry, if kite applies, it is 42%. But if kite doesn't apply and the combined value equation should be applied, it automatically, and it adjusts everything appropriately. And we've just done a 2 rating string combined value equation in a matter of moments. And it's done. It's ready for export. Okay, enough about the rating. I go into a lot greater detail in the rating with the CompCalc support and training video. Okay, now let's go across the top, because you have a menu bar across the top that's live, and I want to go through each one of these. First, you have your navigational bar, and you can see all the different modules. I just clicked on that it has. We've got permanent disability rating schedule. That's the rating module that we just went over. Then you've got the permanent disability indemnity. That's a money chart. TD indemnity. That's the TD money chart. But what's cool about both the PD and the TD is you can calculate based on the average weekly wage, or you can calculate based on an indemnity rate where known. And understand the beauty of the CompCalc is it calculates, the default is given the date of injury maximum. But if you put in the average weekly wage, it calculates your indemnity rates, both TD and PD, never above the max or below the min, given the date of injury, which is pretty tricky. It takes all the guesswork out of it. Also, on the temporary disability indemnity rate, it will calculate a period. So let's say you want to know what 46 weeks and 3 days TD based on an average weekly wage of $844.36, what that translates into. It will handle that calculation automatically for you. So there's no whiz wheels anymore. It's automatically calculated for you down to the penny. A life pension. Now what's neat about the life pension module is that it gives you the life pension given the date of injury. But if you want to take that one step further, and you want to apply a present value or COLA calculation, we've done that as well for you. And it gives you three different pieces of information that are vital for those of us who have a background in economics and finance. We want to know what is the future value. We want to bring that back to the present value. And then we want to apply a COLA calculation on that for the true value of that case anytime it's a life pension or 100% award. And it does that automatically for you. We've also built in to 100% awards because it's based on really a TD calculation, even though it's a PD award. We've built in there an average weekly wage. So once again, it will give you the TD calculation based on the date of injury, based on an average weekly wage. It will calculate that for you, and then it will apply a COLA calculation going up, and it will apply a PV calculation, present value calculation, bringing it back so that you know what the full value of that case is. Now, just a quick word on this. It uses age at first date or first payment, and what that has a consequence of doing is either having the award a little bit higher or a little bit lower, depending where you are, given the applicant's date of birth for payments. Because understand it's using the life expectancy tables to do that calculation. We're going to modify that so that you put in the specific date of injury and you put in the specific date of first payment so that we have an absolute date certain on both of those for the algorithm so that it will calculate your benefit or the value, COLA PV value of that life pension or 100% award down to the penny. So that's coming in 2020. We also have the life expectancy table. We have job displacement benefits table. We have a death benefit. We're going to close out that update. It's always important to update your OS, though, whether you're in Windows 10 or Mac OS. Okay, we have death benefits. We have a date calculator. And the neat thing about the date calculator is I know how important weeks are. So it will calculate your days as well as your weeks, as well as your weeks and days. So you get all that information by merely putting in a couple of dates. We have QME body part codes. How often are we looking for the damn QME table for specialty table for those codes or the body part codes when we're filling out a CNR? But here it's at the tip of your finger. Combined value equation. The reason I put that, well, let me tell you what it is. It allows you to take different combined value percentages, different percentages and apply the combined value equation. And it not only gives you the percentage, but it gives you the indemnity based on the date of injury. So it gives you a full calculation, and it'll take as many rating strings as you want, but certainly, 10, 15 rating strings, 3 to 5 rating strings, so that you can really play hypothetically with the value of the case, and you can show your opposition counsel how you're calculating and coming up with that settlement. Okay, so that is the navigational menu. It's all the different modules within the CompCalc. Here we have our home icon. This takes you back to the home page for the California Applicants Attorney's website. Now, I want you to understand that we're working through the internet here, and so if you don't have an internet connection, you're not going to be able to have access to the California Applicants Attorneys Association rating and indemnity system. But there are 2 links here. If you want to permanently install it, this is a paid for. If you want to permanently install it from the Apple Store because you're working in a Apple environment, or if you want to go to the Microsoft Store and download it permanently in a Windows 10 environment, you can have that as well, and that way you won't have to have an internet connect. These additional icons are self-explanatory, and I'll go through them in greater detail. They only apply to 2 modules. They apply to your rating module and they apply to your CAAA calculation module. Here it allows you to save, load one that with a rating or combine, or I'm sorry, either the rating or the module dealing with CAAA calculations. You can, once saved, load it back up, or you can create an email and send it to yourself. Edit, this allows you to have additional rating strings. This also applies to the combined value module where you add additional numbers. So that pull-down menu applies there, but you can see you can delete a rating string, clear a rating string, etc., etc. It's live based on the module that we're in, and of course we're in the PD rating module. View, this allows us to flip tables so that we can expand them, or if we want to clean up our desktop, we can close them. We can also go from occupational groups to occupational industries and groups and occupations within those industries, or back to occupational groups. And then of course we have the help menu, and if you're watching these, we have basic features and functions rating with the CompCalc advanced tips and techniques, and then you can contact us. Okay, that concludes basic features and functions. It just gave you an overview. What I would really encourage you to do is move your cursor, your pointer, around the screen, and anytime you see a hand, just click on it and see what happens. One of the things that I didn't show you that I will be showing you in rating with the CompCalc is the fact that you can go up or down and put in your dates and double click on it. But when it comes to years, you just want to get to the year quick, right? So we've tried to make navigating and inputting as quick as possible. And you can see it automatically, again, it automatically adjusts your rating string given the input, and it does it immediately. And there's no need to go through and clear everything out and then start from the beginning and go back through it. What I wanted to do when I wrote the algorithms for this is make it intuitive, simple, and very efficient. And one of the problems with all the rating programs out there is they want you to clear it out and then start anew. And that is honestly not a wise way to program a computer. Okay. Again, I want to encourage you to listen to all 3 videos and then just go through and play with it. If there's any, in closing, I want to say this. If you have any thoughts or ideas about improvements, or if you come across anything that you think is not accurate, just contact us and we'll immediately address any questions that you might have. This system has been implemented now and tested for over 4.5 years. We're going on 5 years. Late this fall, so it's been pretty thoroughly tested. But again, if you come across anything, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas or thoughts for improvement, I'd love to hear those as well. Okay, thanks for listening and watching, and that concludes this the support and training video for basic features and functions. Thank you.